This is a lesson on using Windows MovieMaker. This is the version that came with XP. So now, in order to get there, you go to Start, Programs, and it's in Accessories, and then Entertainment, and there's your Windows MovieMaker right there. So that launches the application. Now this is the screen you get, and from here, probably the first thing you're going to do is import the pictures that you want to use, or even you might have some video clips. For this lesson, we're going to keep it simple. We're just going to import some pictures. So I've got some pictures ready in a folder. It's best that you do know where they are and they're somewhere in a folder. That way you know where to find them. And I've organized all of these into a convenient area. So now you can insert several at a time. So I'm clicking on the first file here. Now I'm putting my shift key down, and now I'm selecting the last file, and that selects everything in between as well. So I'm going to import all of them at the same time. Now this doesn't actually insert it into your movie. It just gives you pictures from which to choose in order to create your movie. The next step is you would click and drag these down into the spot where you would want them to be. Now there are two views that you can use. You can use the storyboard view or this view. Now if I click on storyboard, the other one's called the timeline. The storyboard simply shows you the actual pictures and the transitions. We'll come back to this one later, but we're going to work in the timeline instead. And this gives you a visual representation of how long your movie is going to be. Now, I recommend that before you start inserting your pictures, give some thought to how long you want each picture to last. Chances are you're going to want it to be probably around the same time for each picture. And you may have an idea going in, and because if you do, you can set it so that as you insert them, they come in with that timing. Now I'm going to go to Tools here and Options, and right now by default any picture I put in will have a 5-second duration, and if I insert a transition, that'll take up another 1.25. So if I know that I want it to go faster or slower, I would change it ahead of time. So now let's say that I want each picture to last 10 seconds. Now I hit OK. Now when I insert them, they're going to be 10 seconds each. Let me explain further. You can change the duration of the picture after you've inserted it. So I'm going to insert this picture in here, and by default it's lasting 10 seconds. I could manually now drag this to change the amount of time it's going to last. However, if you give it some thought before, then you don't have to manually change every single picture from 5 to 10 seconds. They came in with 10 seconds. So if you give it some thought, you might save yourself some time. So now you would determine which order you want these pictures to come in, of course. Now, if you haven't already figured it out, as I'm doing this, this is an alternative to PowerPoint. So you can give a presentation using this application rather than PowerPoint. A lot of similarities, an awful lot of similarities, and you'll have to decide for yourself, given any project, which application you'll want to use, because we can have transitions, we can have titles. We'll get into that before this video is done. So now I've got my pictures in. Now, for the sake of keeping this video brief, I'm not including too many pictures. The next thing you can do is import music, or even an audio clip that you might have recorded. You can create an MP3 file, let's say, where you would say everything you want to say, or dictate whatever you want to dictate, and then you'd be able to drop it in here and then put associating pictures in there. So now I'm going to go and I'm going to import an audio file. In this case, it's going to be an MP3. And again, I know where I have an MP3, so I'm going to go get it right now. And once again, it didn't insert it into my movie, it just added it to my collection here. And for some strange reason, when you insert an audio file after you've inserted pictures into your collection, it goes to the very top of the list. So if you're looking for it at the bottom, it's not because it didn't come in. It's there. Just scroll up this window and you'll find your MP3 or your audio file. And once again, I'm just going to drag this in. All right. Now, because I'm working in my timeline, I'm able to see that my music, my song, is much, much longer, right? It's going to last a lot longer than the pictures that I have. So I'm going to trim this now. I'm going to make this smaller. You're also able to zoom in and zoom out. So if I want to zoom out to get a better perspective, I can do that. And now it makes it easier for me to trim this. I know that I got to trim it to about there. And now I'm zooming in again just to make sure that I'm close. And from what I can see here, I'm very close. So quickly and easily, I've now got pictures, and these pictures are going to change from one to another while this song plays in the background. So I'm going to give you a preview right now as to what this would look like, so you get some kind of an idea. Alright, so there's your preview. Now, there's a few things that we can do to make this a little bit better. The first thing is transition from picture to picture. So now we're going to go back to storyboard here. And now from collection, I'm going to switch over to transition. And now I can simply, as it says here, drag your video transition and drop it between two video clips on a storyboard below. Now you can spend a whole bunch of time trying to determine which one would be best given what it is you're doing. So I'm just going to randomly pick one. Speaking of random, I believe you do have random at the bottom. Nope, not in this list. Alright, so you can change them up from one to another, or you can use the same transition all the way through. It's totally up to you. So you would experiment with some of these, I'm sure, to see what they look like. So I'm just dragging and dropping these transitions in, not really knowing how they're going to look. And now I can go back to my timeline. And it will have typically upset my timeline. So I may be able to, see, I have to trim my song even more now. Okay, so I've seen this in the past. So don't fall in love with your timeline until you've done your transition. So now I need to make this even shorter, because my transitions definitely affected my timeline. And now if I play this again, so it's showing me what my transitions would look like. So we've got pictures, we've got music, and we've got transitions. Next, we're going to talk about how we can add some writing, some words to this presentation. So we're going to go here to make titles or credits. Now, let's take a look at this menu. These are your choices. I can add a title at the beginning of the movie. I can add a title before any selected clip. I can add a title on the clip. I can add a title after the clip. And I can add credits at the end of the movie. So let's try to take a look at each one of these things. So I'm going to go and add a title at the beginning of the movie. So now I've typed in a title here. And now that I've typed it in, I can now change animation. So I can have this so that it's animated in several ways. And again, you can spend an awful lot of time here choosing how you want that. You can also change the text font and the color. And when you're done, you would add it to your movie. So now it's right up here in the front of my movie, and I believe it's lasting about 6 seconds. Now again, I'm going to take a look at my timing here. Alright, so now my slideshow, or my movie, sorry, is lasting longer than my song, and I haven't all I did was I cut my song so that it ended, so now I could stretch my song so that it lasts a little bit longer. So now I've added a title at the very beginning of the movie. Now I'm going to go back. So now I can add titles inside any given slide. Now understand that it's going to go right on top of this picture, so you're going to want to try to set it up so that it doesn't interfere with your picture. So I'm going to go back to Make Titles or Credits. And now, because I have a title before this clip that introduces the movie, I'm not going to choose title before. Instead, let's try this add title on the selected clip. And I'll type something in. So now it's showing me that it's going to be centered and rather big in the middle. And I'm wondering, is there anything I can do so that it doesn't end up being there? So maybe if I change the font and make it a little bit smaller, it'll fit onto one line. And now position, it's not giving me a vertical position. It's simply giving me a horizontal position. So if I hit done and add, I'll then have to take a look at what that's going to look like. So let's play this. Alright, so not very good. It's white on white. At the very least, I'm going to need to change that so that it's black. So I'm going to right click on that and go to Edit Title. And then I need to change the font so that it'll come in black. And then I can hit done. And let's see what it looks like now. Not the greatest, but at least you have an idea as to where and how that's coming up. Now we can go back to titles, and as you can see here, we can go after the selected clip. Okay, so let's try that. All right, so once again, it appears as though we're going to get that blue background. And if we hit done, I'm going to go back to the clip prior to that, play it. So just as it said, it showed up between clips. And of course at the end you can add credits, okay, or an explanation, anything you'd like to do at the end of your movie. It could even be a little review of what it is you went over. I'm just going to hit cancel now. Now, without stretching this too long, that's basically the things you need to remember when using MovieMaker. If you want to see your pictures again, you want to get back to that menu, you simply come back here and you'll see your collections. Feel free to investigate further things that you can do, such as importing your own video clips, which you can easily import the same way we did the pictures. However, armed with this information, you're ready to go.